Hi, my name is Jim Wellman, and today we're going to take you on a tour of our soybean and corn plot that we have just here outside of Delphos, Ohio. This plot was planted on May the 12th last spring, and today is August the 29th. Some of the early varieties have already begun turning. For the most part, most of the late group 2s through the group 3s are all still green yet. This begins our lineup of Roundup ready soybeans. Our first variety is 4125. The way our numbering system works is the 4, or the first digit of the number, will tell you that it's a Roundup ready to yield soybean. The 1 indicates the year that this variety was first available for sale, this one being 2011. And the 2.5 is the maturity group of the soybean variety, so this would be a 2.5 maturity soybean. The Wellman 4125 works excellent, say from Route 30 north. We use it quite extensively up in Michigan because that's where it has a pretty good track record on yield, and farmers have had very good experience with it. Wellman 3026 is a variety that has been used, say in west central Ohio and also in eastern Indiana, roughly from Route 30 north. Has a super track record in state yield trials both here in Ohio and also in Michigan. It's a Roundup Ready 1 variety as indicated by the 3 in the numbering system, and has excellent phytophthora tolerance and goes over most soil types. It has a little more height to it, and that allows it to be adapted to much more, or quite a few more soil types than some of the other earlier varieties. 4326 is a brand new 2.6 soybean variety that we're growing for the first time this year. It was developed by the same company that developed our 3026. So with that track record, when they came to us with this soybean variety, we decided to put it into our lineup. We also have it in lots of field evaluations, and we'll be reporting the yield on that one at harvest time. 4227 was marketed by us this past season. It has excellent stress tolerance, so when things go a little bit wrong and the weather starts to work the variety over, this variety here will maintain its eye appeal and also its yield potential. So in the last 2 years has been a very good old standby in that environmental conditions don't seem to affect it so much. Wellman 4328 will be brand new this next year. The reason that we stuck it in the lineup is because based on our previous test data, this variety is adapted to a very wide range of soil types. So we decided to bring this one forward for the fellows that have multiple soil types in the same field, because as we go across those mixed soil types, it appears to maintain its height along with its yield potential. The Key 1328 is a Liberty resistant soybean variety. This one is marketed by Agri-Solutions and is one of the 2 varieties that we have in our lineup. The new Liberty soybean varieties are much higher in yield than the previous ones that we've had in earlier years, so I guess we're looking for a lot better performance out of the 2 varieties that we have on Liberty tolerance this year than what we've had in the past. Wellman 4030 was released back in 2010. Has a great track record on yield. This variety usually has a lot of extra height. It's a very vigorous growing variety. It'll go over the lighter soils extremely well and maintain its yield potential. Last year it was one of the superstars back in 2011. Had an extremely good yield history behind it for an early soybean. The 4131 was right on its heels last year, and it performed extremely well also. The standability on the 4131 is a little bit better than the 4030, so for guys that have average to better than average soil fertility, the 4131 is the one that we use under that situation. 3431 is the oldest variety in our lineup. After we had released this back, say, in 2006, over half of the soybeans that we sold was this soybean variety right here. In the last few years, with the release of the Genuity Roundup Ready to Yield soybeans, the yield potential of this variety hasn't quite kept up with some of the newer varieties. We still have it offered available for sale in our lineup. However, the newer varieties are beginning to overtake it, and this one here probably won't be around many more years. The 4331 is a brand new soybean variety that we're looking to improve on the traits of the 4131. This variety here in testing beat the 4131 by about 3 bushel. It has a little better disease tolerance, and for that reason we've got some pretty good production of it. It comes from the same breeding program that our 3026 came from, so we know that it's good solid genetics, and we're expecting some pretty big things out of this variety. 1331 is our other Liberty soybean variety. Has excellent yield numbers behind it. As I indicated, the new varieties are much better than what we've had in the past, and this one is brand new for the upcoming 2013 planting season. 4332 was selected as a new variety for next year because of its superior yield performance. It was very similar to the 4333. However, the 4332 has excellent tolerance and a single gene for Phytophthora resistance, but the 4333 had the 2-gene resistance. So since it was kind of a flip of a coin, we decided to produce both of them for the 2013 planting season. Because of its height, we will recommend the 4332 on light colored soils and lower organic matter soils, and the 4333 will recommend for heavier soils and areas where Phytophthora could be a problem. Because of the 2-gene protection we have in that variety, we feel we'll get superior performance out of that variety under those types of conditions. 4134 has an excellent yield history. This past season in 2011, it was simply amazing, especially on mixed soils. Most farmers had a real good yield level with this particular product, and it continues to be a very big part of our lineup. We also had 4234 last year, as it was a brand new variety. It will stand a little bit better than the 4134, so we'll put the 4234 on the higher fertility soils, the darker soils, and the lighter mixed soils is where we use the 4134. Okay, you'll notice we have 4234 placed in the plot 2 different occasions here. The reason for that is this particular strip here has our encased seed treatment on it, and it was treated prior to planting. The 4234 that we have over here was not treated, and we planted untreated seed. In the past, our seed treatment has been good for anywhere from 4 to 5 bushels per acre, and this particular plot will be checked for yield, and we'll be able to report the benefits and advantages of our seed treatment. So that's the reason this variety is in the plot twice in through this area. 4335 is a brand new variety that has explosive, robust growth. When this thing comes out of the ground, it never quits growing. The types of areas that we'd like to place it here this next year would be anywhere where we have lighter colored soils or places that it's a little bit harder to get the soybean out of the ground. This variety here is really a strong emerger, and I said super robust growth during the growing season. You'll notice it's just about the tallest variety we have, yet the standability of this thing is perfect. It's standing just as straight as it possibly could. So this one should be a pretty good performing variety for us in 2013. 4137 is an older variety. This is the last year for performance, or last year for production that we'll have on this one. It has a real good track record on mixed soil types as we go, say, from Route 30 south, and does a real great job on yield, very attractive at harvest time. 4236 was our best performing soybean in both the Ohio and Indiana state trials this last year. From the looks of the strip that we have this year, it's potted up very nicely, and I think it's going to be a very good contender again for that top spot. As I said, it has an excellent track record on yield, very good disease tolerance, and a farmer favorite, say roughly from Route 30 south. 3636 is one of the older varieties that we have in our lineup. We don't sell too much of them anymore, but the reason we stuck this in here was to show how much we've improved standability over the last 6 or 7 years. The new 36 is standing perfectly straight. The older 36 has a little bit of a standability issue. So that's the reason that we stuck this one here in the plot, just to kind of show you how much we've been able to improve these varieties over the last few years. For 2013, we have 2 brand new full season varieties. The first is the 4339, and like the 4335, it's a real robust type of growth of a plant type. It's going to get real good heights to it. We'll go across multiple soil types. On the high ground, it's not going to shorten up on you. So this would be an excellent choice for a full season variety for someone who has lighter soils or the soil types where the height is compromised on the soybean plant. The 4340 is going to be about 6 to 8 inches shorter, has the same yield history similar to the 4339. Either one of these two could be the highest yielding bean in the plot. Judging from the way that they're potted up, it's probably going to be a pretty close race between these two varieties.